Hey friends, how are you? I hope that you're doing well. This is totally unscripted. Not that anything is scripted per se, but at least journaling out thoughts before I share them. But this is just kind of off the cusp. Um, and I guess what was on my heart at this moment in time is I feel like I always come back to this thing of resting in Jesus. And, you know, where I come back to this topic often is in seasons of waiting and seasons that feel a little more still. And I don't know about you, but that's kind of where I find myself currently. And, culturally speaking, there's such this drive for the next thing. And maybe that's also a little bit of just our flesh, our humanness, progressing and moving forward and going after the next thing. And, our lives become about this thing of doing, and there's a goal and then going to the goal and then the next and yada 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 yada. But in seasons of waiting and in seasons of stillness, our hearts can often be challenged when we find them, I guess, strain from that centeredness in Jesus, and are really what that comes from is just focus, right? And so where our focus lies. And so these seasons of waiting test our faith, really. These seasons of stillness test our faith. And namely, I feel like I'm thinking about the things that the Lord has, spoken over our lives, what he's told us, And I've been thinking about the promises, that were given to Abraham and David and Joseph, and just how long the fulfillment was from the promise to when it actually happened. And there was a lot that went on during those times, and it wasn't just this, time of, quietness in the natural. There were severe, challenges, and there were crazy trials. But I'm sure these, they all had moments, but what really marks me is just their faith and their belief that God was going to do what he said he was going to do. And of course, God did, because God is faithful and his nature is faithfulness, and he knows no other way but to be faithful. So I guess kind of bringing it back to this moment in time, is just encouraging both you and I that if we trust God's heart, we can trust his leadership in our lives. And I guess an exhortation not to step into striving. And just this evening, I was thinking about striving and really how striving steals glory from the Lord, because it takes it and it places it in our own hands. And so what can happen, what our hearts can feel in that tension of waiting and fulfillment is, oh man, I gotta do something, right? I gotta do something. There's something I'm not doing. When the kingdom is so opposite, like what the Lord invites us into is rest and yes, partnership. If the Lord is prompting us to, have a conversation or take a step or whatnot, but ultimately it's his leadership and his glory and him that fulfills the promise, him that fulfills the thing, and we can start to step into striving when we lose our focus, when our focus and our perspective shift. Maybe it's looking at others, maybe it's just the emotions that we feel, in the tension of waiting, and it's like, I can't wait any longer. But I just want to exhort and encourage both you and I that the Lord's timing for our lives is absolutely and utterly perfect. And, he sees things that we don't see. And he's also just preparing us. There's so much that's going on that we don't even know, but our position is to trust him and to lean into his faithfulness and just watch as he unfolds it. And so I guess my prayer for you and I, and Lord, just help us stay rooted in faith and to trust your heart. And like I said, if we trust his heart, we can trust his leadership. So I hope this encourages you. If you find yourself in a season of just waiting or a season of stillness, my exhortation to the both of us again is to not keep just looking, to stay in faith and continue to pray and to seek the Lord, but not to be so focused on the thing that we lose sight of God. Because another thing is that we can become so attached to the promise or the thing that we, miss on what God is doing, we miss the point, right? Something I've been sitting with is I don't want to be entitled to the promise, right? You know, the promise is the gift. And it's really the giver that is the ultimate gift, if that makes sense. Hey? So anyway, bless you, friends, and hope this encourages you.